Just wait for a few people to join us and then we can start. That's just how I feel when I'm around you, shawty. This hair tangles a lot. Like, it's a lot. Okay, guys, I think I should start because I have so much on my plate right now. And yeah. Anyways, hey guys. Hi. I come back. Oh my gosh, it has been so long. It has been so long, and I know that some of you are mad at me, but yeah, like it was matters beyond my control. It was matters beyond my control. So yeah. But anyways, I hope you guys been good. I haven't been good, honestly. I haven't been good. Unfortunately, my dad passed away. That's why I went AWOL. That's why I went AWOL because I was busy with the funeral preps, funeral arrangements, everything, and now I am dying. I am like my body is so sore. My body is so sore, you guys. Like yo, like I am tired. Hey, like apart from my body being sore and all of that, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling, cause one minute I'm okay, and then the next, it hits me that my dad is no longer here. But it's part of life. Like I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, but I really didn't expect it to happen so soon. Like I really didn't expect it to happen so soon. Like but it's fine. He's in a better place now. So yeah, guys, we're still gonna continue with our series of reading my subscribers scary stories. Like I really hope the Wi-Fi won't disappoint me today because last time I don't know what was happening. It decided to go down, and yeah. So let's start. So I'm gonna continue where I left off, right? One thing I don't like about this whole thing is that this whole thing of my dad's passing, it fucked up my sleeping pattern. It fucked up my sleeping pattern. Yo, I'm just so exhausted, guys. I'm exhausted. I need to get some rest. Even my body itself, it's tired. Like I am tired. I need to get some rest because I haven't been sleeping for the past 2 weeks. I haven't been sleeping for the past 2 weeks. Like I haven't been getting enough rest for the past 2 weeks because of the whole thing. That's what grief does to a person, because wow, there was just so much going on in my mind. Like yo, there was just so much going on. But yeah, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. That's all I can say. Hi Vishwa, how are you? So yeah, let's start. Okay, last time we read There's Something Living in My Grandma's Piano. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with that story again. I'm gonna read it again. Okay, I think I should come a little bit closer. Like I don't want to sit like this because yo, my body's so sore, guys. Especially this part, my backside. In fact, I'm gonna have to speak louder because wow. Yeah. Okay, There's Something Living in My Grandma's Piano. I've rewritten. Like I really hope these stories won't trigger me, because now like let me not even get into detail, because but I hope they won't trigger me. Like I hope they won't trigger me. But yeah, it's fine. There's Something Living in My Grandma's Piano. I've rewritten this post 3 times now, and each time I've scrapped it because I was sure it sounded insane. I don't know if this will be any better. It's not like it'll change anything, but I need to tell someone. I need advice. I inherited a piano from my grandmother 3 months ago. That sentence feels cursed already, like the start of some gothic novel or a cliche ghost story, but it's the truth. She didn't even play the thing. None of us did. Well, grandma knew. She had a reason why, in my opinion. It had been in her house as long as I could remember, sitting in the front room like an oversized coffin, collecting dust and taking up way too much space. She used to joke that it came with the house and that it would stay with it when she was gone, but it didn't. The house sold fast after she passed, and my parents, being practical, decided the piano was too valuable to leave behind. I mean, that was grandma's piano. Obviously, you guys couldn't leave it behind, right? It was one of those old uprights with ornate carvings along the top and sides, all dark wood polished to an oily side. Even in the dim lighting of her house, the carvings looked strange, organic. They curled and twisted like ribs of vines growing around themselves. I always hated that thing. But I live in a small house and my parents don't, so guess who got stuck with it? At first, it was just furniture. It sat against the wall in my living room, a hulking thing that didn't match anything else. I never touched it. I barely looked at it. But over time, I started noticing little things that didn't sit right. Fast forward. Okay. It began with the power outrages. At random times, my lights would flicker and die, along with every other electronic in the house. The first time it happened, I thought it was the breaker. I went to check it, but everything was fine. Then just as suddenly, the power came back. This sounds like a movie. This sounds like a scene in a movie, actually. This became a routine. Every week or so, the outages would happen, always at night and always without warning. There was no storm, no construction nearby, nothing that could explain it. And when the lights went out, the house didn't feel dark. It felt wrong. Okay? I know that sounds dramatic, but I don't know how else to describe it. It wasn't just the absence of light, it was the presence of something else. Something heavy. The air felt thick and the silence wasn't really silent. There were noises, not loud ones, but enough to make my skin crawl. The faint creak of floorboards, the barely audible hum of something alive, and the soft, almost impeccable vibrations in the air, like the remnants of a low note played on a massive instrument. Yo. The first time it happened, I thought I was imagining things. By the third, I was sure I wasn't. Then the piano started changing. I don't know how else to put it. I swear the carvings have shifted. Not drastically, but enough that I notice. The twisting patterns along the sides seem deeper now, more pronounced. They remind me of bones. And the keys, they used to be yellowed and cracked, but now they almost glow in the dark, faintly like old teeth under a black light. Fast forward. Sana, my back is killing me. Ooh. Okay. I wouldn't have thought much of it if it weren't for the noises. At night, when the power goes out, the piano makes sounds. Did you guys hear that? Not music not music exactly, but soft, dissonant notes that seem to resonate through the house. What if there was someone who was playing the piano, like something not visible, The first time I heard it, I thought someone had broken in. I grabbed a kitchen knife and crept into the living room, but the room was empty. Okay, where were your parents when all of this was happening? Except for the piano, the lid was open. That's when I saw it for the first time. It started as a shadow, a strange shifting darkness within the hollow of the piano. Then it moved. Slowly, impossibly, something began to unfold itself from the shadows. I don't know how to describe it without sounding insane. It was wrong. It looked like it was made of ribs and teeth. All interlocking and clicking as it crawled out of the piano like some cryptic spider. Its movements were jerky, almost mechanical, as if it was struggling to understand how its limes worked. The sound of it moving was the worst, like teeth chattering, mixed with soft, discordant piano notes that seemed to come from inside out. Sheesh. Fast forward. Why is this thing not moving? Okay. But the worst part was the way it watched me. What watched you? It didn't have eyes, not in any way that makes sense, but I could feel its gaze. It was curious. That's the only word I can think of. It didn't lunge at me, didn't make a sound beyond the faint clicking of its bones and the low vibrating hum that seemed to come from its chest or what passed for a chest. It just observed. I stood frozen, knife in hand, staring at this thing as it crawled toward me. It didn't touch me. It didn't try to hurt me. It just stopped a few feet away, tilted its head, or at least, I think it was its head, and waited. What the hell are you talking about? Okay, for what? I have no idea. It stayed there for what felt like hours, but was probably only minutes, watching me with a kind of unsettling patience. Oh. Then, just as slowly, it began to crawl backward, folding itself back into the shadows of the piano. Zulum, what the hell did you write, bro? Like, I don't understand. Okay. The lid closed on its own. The power came back. That was 2 months ago. Since then, it's happened six more times. Always the same routine. The power goes out, the piano starts making noise, and the thing crawls out to watch me. I would have thrown I would have thrown it out decades ago. Like, I would have burnt it. Because clearly there's something wrong with that piano. It's never tried to hurt me. It's never even come closer than a few feet. But every time it happens, I feel like I lose a piece of myself. Yo, fast forward. The story is long. It's not just the piano anymore either. I've started noticing food going missing. Okay, there's something definitely in that house. Once food goes missing, just know that there is a presence in that house. At first, I thought I was imagining things. Maybe I'd just forgotten eating it. But then I woke up one night and found it in the kitchen. The creature. It was standing there, bent and skeletal, its ribs shifting as it opened one of my cabinets. Its teeth clattered softly as it tilted its head and as if studying the contents. When it noticed me, it didn't react. It just stood there for a moment, then turned and crawled out of the room, its limes clicking against the floor like a critic insect. I've woken up some nights to find it standing in the doorway to my bedroom, watching me sleep. My nigga, why are you still in that house? And in the mornings, I've found doors open, things knocked over, and faint scratches on the walls and floor, evidence that's been wandering the house even when I'm not awake to see it. Fast forward, I hope this is the last part. The fuck? I haven't told anyone. What would I even say? That my piano spits out a monster made of ribs and teeth? Well, at least you told us. That it just sits there and stares at me like it's waiting for something. I sound insane even writing it. I've thought about getting rid of the piano, but I can't bring myself to touch it. Dude, just gather some strength and get rid of that thing. I don't even go near it during the day, but lately I've been wondering what's inside. The lid stays closed now unless the power goes out. I've never tried opening it during the day. I don't know if I'm too scared or just too tired, but I can't stop thinking about it. What would happen if I opened it? Would it come out? Would it do something? Or would it just sit there waiting like it always does? I think you should consult a priest or a prophet before touching it, because some things are not meant to be touched. I don't know what to do. The thing hasn't hurt me, not yet. But every time it shows up, I feel like I'm being drawn closer to something. Something I don't understand and don't want to understand. So I'm asking, what would you do? What would I do? Okay? So this person, the writer, is asking us, what would you do? Man, like I said, I would have burned that thing decades ago, but I understand that he doesn't want to touch it because, I don't know, maybe he's scared or something, but at the same time, yeah, like I would have told someone old, someone old who would prefer me to a priest or something before touching it. Or so, yeah. Where was I? What is this? But every time it shows up, I feel like I'm being drawn closer to something. Something I don't understand and don't want to understand. Okay, what would you do? Would you open the lid and see what's inside? Excuse, would you try to get rid of the piano? Or would you just leave it alone and hope it goes away? Because I don't think it's going to go away. Stop with the negative thought, stop with the negative thinking, because I don't think it's going to go away and I don't think I can ignore it much longer. Yeah, man, tell your parents what's been going on. That's all I can say. Okay, moving on. Okay, so now I'm going to share spookiest stories about my country, South Africa, right? The first one. I grew up in a rural. Okay, there's no title. Okay, there's no title. Okay, it reads, I grew up in a rural part of KZN. I remember when I was in primary school, we had an incident where the black students claimed there was a tokoloshi in the girls' toilets. Yo, we all been there. Like we've all been there. There were instances where the black girls would run out of the bathroom claiming they saw it, and a few of them even passed out. Yo! The caretakers of the school even went in there to see if anyone was in there and possibly playing a prank on the girls, but they didn't find anyone. This only affected the black girls who were like 10 to 13 years old. This is so true, wow. This is so true. Like we all grew up with this story that there was something in the girls' toilet. Okay, I will. The colored and Indian girls were never affected, but eventually everyone stopped using the toilets. Okay, the caretakers did some sort of ritual in there to bless the place, but it took quite some time before the girls started using. I remember every time when I had to when I had to go to the bathroom when I was still in primary, wow, I would hold it in. I would hold it in until I went back home because wow, that's how scared I was. Yo. A couple weeks after that, a group of kids ran to the caretakers and said there's a possessed man sitting in the tree at the bottom of the grounds. I remember going down there and seeing the guy hiding in the tree. He was talking to himself and he was making weird sounds. Eventually, the caretakers got their bush knives out and chased him away. I don't think he was possessed though. I also don't think he was possessed. I think he was mentally disturbed. I think he was drunk or high, maybe. The white in his eyes looked quite yellow, and that was probably what made the kids think that he was possessed. He never came back, and we never had any weird stuff happen in our school afterwards. Oh, so maybe what if the guy was the one who was tormenting the school? This happened around 25 years ago, but I still remember the look in that man's eyes when he shouted at us. That was our first story, ladies and gentlemen. Comment down below, what do y'all think? Fast forward. Right, the second one. I was okay. I was in the hostel in grade 10 on an agricultural school in Mpumalanga. There was a lot of stories about the farm that was attached to the school, and one of the stories was a worker that disappeared along with the tractor he was driving. Like this, a lot of farms in South Africa are haunted. They are very haunted, Shane, because like I don't want to go into detail, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say, right? Like yeah, a lot of so much has happened before we were even born. So yeah, that's why most places are haunted. The story said that on a moonless night, he can be seen driving around the farm. So one evening when there was no moon, me and a few friends snuck out of the dorms and went to investigate this rumor. As soon as I walked in through the farm gate, two headlights appeared accompanied by the sound of a tractor heading straight for me. When I tried to move out of the way, I couldn't move. The moment the headlights reached me, everything vanished, light and sound, leaving just me and my friends shaking in our sleepers. Yeah, that sounds hectic. Next! No, one thing about South African stories, African stories in general, they will give you goosebumps. Okay, let's fast forward. Okay, is it the third one now, or what's happening? Okay, 5. This one reads, not a widely known story, but okay, not a widely known story, but not a widely known story, but I went to a school called Jeppe Boys High School in Johannesburg. We had a story about a ghost, the Afkop Fro. The story goes that the night before the inter-high school athletics, like I was gonna tell you guys what that story is about, but at the same time, I don't want to jinx it. Nah, like I want to read this person's story, right? The story goes that the night before the inter-high school athletics tournament, a boy was practicing his javelin throw on the sports field. He didn't notice his mother walking across the field and threw the javelin through her neck. Every year, the night before the tournament, she walks around the school tormenting the boys brave enough to be outside on that night. One of the ways that the older boys scares the new grade 8 boys is by playing with the lights and water in the hostels on that night to see who freaks out. Okay. Next. Are you guys still good though? Are y'all still good? Okay, this one reads, remember that I'm still reading South African stories, right? South African scary stories. In Port Elizabeth, there is, oh, I'm almost done at least. Like I have a lot of work that's waiting for me, so I need to, yeah. In Port Elizabeth, there's an old school that is very haunted. There's a ghost in the boys' dormitory that was recently caught on camera and was well known before that. She basically just stares at you and moves windows to watch you as you leaving the premises. The family that lived there had many kids, and at night when their parents were asleep, they would slide down the banisters on oven trays and almost always wake the maids. Now at night, you can hear giggling and the sound of the trays on the staircases. Okay, I've never heard of this one before. The house had a magnificent garden that the husband commissioned for his wife to show how much he loved her. She absolutely loved her garden and was in it constantly. After she died, there were reports from the workers that they saw her working through the garden at night. She was attached to that garden. The garden was sadly destroyed to make sports fields, but some say they still see her. Do I believe this? I don't know. I went to this school for years and I definitely felt something but never actually saw anything. I heard the children on the stairs, but that's about all. Okay, this was my first time hearing of such. Like, I have never heard of this story before. I don't know about y'all. Fast forward. Okay. This story reads, this happened to a mate of mine in 2003. He's the most straightforward guy I know. He doesn't bullshit anyone. Not sure what this classifies as, but my friend owns a diving company that works on dams for the government. Often these towns are in tiny towns throughout South Africa. This one dam is near Ladysmith. These dams are often near or on private property. He knew the farmer from previous work on the dam, and the farmer had offered for them to stay for free in one of the old farmhouses. The house was literally just a roof and walls, no furniture, so the divers all bought beds and stretchers to sleep on. This work can take weeks and in some case months to complete, and he had other sites to visit, so he would he would drop the men off, set them up for the first day, get things started, and then drive back home in the evening. After 3 days, he drove back to the site to see how work was going and then help the guys finish up the last few days on site. That evening, he went to the farmhouse and set up his bed in the main room where an old fireplace was. It was very spacious and he was very confused as to why the other 5 divers were all in one room. That's odd. After speaking to the guys, they told him that every single one of them had experienced a heavy weight, like a belt or hands pushing down onto their chest. The weight would get heavier and heavier, and when you fought back, it got heavier until you yelled or panicked or made a noise that one of the others would tell you to shut up and stop moving around. Fast forward. Each one of these men had experienced this over the few nights they stayed there. My friend is very religious and initially blew it off as the guys stuffing around with him. So he set up his bed and one of the other divers decided to be safe and join him again, okay? Well, that night he felt it, a weight pressing down onto his chest. He thought it was the divers and so told them to F off, I'm trying to sleep. But when he looked up, no one was standing above him. The weight got heavier and heavier, and he could feel his ribs about to break when he yelled for help, and the diver next to him jumped up and pulled the blanket off him. Okay, didn't your friend experience sleep paralysis maybe? The weight immediately lifted. He moved to the next room with the other divers and went to sleep. The next morning, he sifted through the room looking for anything that could explain what he had experienced and found it. 3 urns that they thought were empty pot plates. He spoke to the farm owner who was oblivious to the urns, so he took them to his house to get them checked out. That night, the farmer and his wife experienced exactly what the others had. He freaked out and drove to the driver's hut in the middle of the night in a flat spin. So clearly there was something wrong with the pot plants, right? Like I said, my friend is very religious, so he had read or was told that one of the ways to get rid of an item causing problems was to burn it. That's what I know. So let's fast forward. So him and the farm owner started a fire with the help of the other divers and they set the urns on fire. So yeah, technically the thing or the things that were causing problems, it was the pot plants. They were haunted. Fast forward. Oh, this was the last story. Oh, okay, I didn't expect it because normally when I read these stories, I take forever. yeah guys, like I have tons of work that I need to do, and like I've mentioned earlier in the video, like I am so used to vlogging that I always forget what to say sometimes. Yeah, like I had mentioned earlier when I started this stream that I'm not well, you know, my body's so sore from all the work that I did this past week. Like, yeah, like I just want to sleep, but I need to sort out my life first because I have a lot of work that's waiting for me and there's no turning back now. Like, I can't really dodge it because the more I postpone, the more, you know, yeah. So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining my stream. Until next time. Night.